Welcome, everyone. This is the PartsVu Xchange Talks Boating podcast. Here we chat about all things boating with marine industry professionals and enthusiasts who spend all the time they can out on the water.
Hi, this is Tanya Becker, and I'm the host of PartsVu Xchange Talks Boating. First, if you haven't already, please subscribe to PartsVu Xchange Talks Boating wherever you get your podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or Amazon to make sure you don't miss any of our programming. We have a special episode for you today. Earlier this year, one of PartsVu's co-founders, Mike Newton, sat down with professional bass angler Garrett Paquette. They were at Lake Toho right before the Chain of Lakes Bassmaster Open tournament. This was the first Bassmaster Open of the season, and Garrett and Mike talked about the season ahead, the increased interest in bass fishing, and some of the ways Garrett is approaching this season. We hope you enjoy the conversation.
So, Garrett, here we are, man. We're out here. It's what should be sunny and warm Lake Toho, but it's gray, overcast and cloudy. But we're psyched to be here. Super great to be with you. So you're here for the Chain of Lakes Bassmaster Open tournament.
Yeah, here. I was kind of joking with you. I drove 1,000 miles to come here and be in a rainstorm, but
Exactly.
That's usually how it works. We got a big tournament. But yeah, we're here. This is the first Bass Open of the year on the Kissimmee Chain. This is Lake Toho here at Big Toho Marina, and I'm real excited. I mean, I'm excited to get out of the cold, but it's a new season, new year, and there's always that excitement that you can achieve a lot of your goals before the season. That's what I'm here to do. So I'm ready to get out there and get after it.
And you brought down with you, your awesome Bass Cat Cougar. I mean, not to mention the PartsVu.com wrap on it. It looks like it looks super cool.
Yeah, you can probably see it back there. We got the new wrap on there, the
awesome.
Mad blue and black. And it looks great. It's always exciting to have a new boat with the new technology, with everything on there. I've had a couple hours on it, and I'm super stoked about.
Checked out good.
Yeah, everything was good, which is a bonus, and I'm excited. This is I put it together well, and it should be a good one for me.
So thinking about obviously with COVID and supply chain concerns that are out there, a lot of people have been waiting on new boats. So I think you're probably lucky to have gotten it. Was there any kind of concern there at the beginning? Are some guys waiting still?
There's a lot of guys that usually have a boat every single year, or we're planning on getting a boat this year that aren't getting one, just for whatever reason, whether it's an engine that they can't get, or wire harness, just all sorts of crazy stuff is out of stock. I didn't realize it was actually as bad as it was, but Bass Cat took care of me and put some parts aside last April.
Wow.
So I was able to get my boat for this season. So I appreciate what they've done. Otherwise, I would definitely have not have had one. And that goes for a lot. There's a lot of brands in the industry that are it's just hard to get product. I mean, fishing's at an all-time high, bass fishing especially. So everyone wants product, everyone's buying product. And then, you put the supply chain issues on top of that, and it's kind of a nightmare for some of us anglers. But we've made it work, so I'm fortunate.
That's great, man. I mean, people said, hey, if I'm going to be stuck in my house, I can get out and go boating. So just the demand and the interest there just skyrocketed.
Exactly. And I know you guys are seeing that as well with your sales, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's been tremendous for us. It's been a blessing, really. I mean, not to say that COVID's been a blessing, but it's just amazing to see that come in, that demand, and it continues. I mean, I know a lot of manufacturers are sold through 2023.
Really?
They have slots that are out there like, okay, you want a boat, get on the list, and just hurry up and wait. It's been incredible.
Well, yeah, and that's exciting for me because I think there's a lot of people, obviously, you work in an office the whole time. You're not exposed to the outdoors, and you don't get to experience the great things that we get to experience. So it's exciting to see all these new faces in here. They're experiencing, my sport of bass fishing and how cool it is, and they want to be a part of it. They're experiencing boating. They want to get out there on the water. It's something that I feel like the world would be a better place if there was more people doing this. So I'm excited that a lot of people are out here and being able to experience getting out on the water.
No doubt, man. That's a good way to look at it, for sure. So this is how long have you been in the Bass Pro Series now?
So this will be my fourth year.
Fourth year.
Yep.
Okay, your fourth
so
year.
I did it a couple years, qualified, and then I've been, kind of doing this full time now for 4 years.
Wow, that's
obviously
tremendous.
Fishing my whole life, but.
I mean, what a dream. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, people go through life like always trying to find their love and their passion. And if they do, they really can make a living doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So here you are, this is your office, man. I mean, that's so cool.
Yeah, I always say I'm really fortunate. I have a job where my alarm goes off at 4 a.m, and I'm not mad about it.
That's
so
right.
I can't complain about it. I mean, I get to come out here. I get to, it's a unique setting every single day. I'm going to new areas of the country, seeing new things.
Yes.
It's really special, and I'm hoping to work hard enough to continue to do this
Keep it
forever.
going.
I mean, this is where I want to be.
And we're so happy to be, part of that journey with you, man. It's been great. So talk to us a bit, about Lake Toho, kind of what you're up against, what the lake environment's like, particularly in this kind of a climate right now. We're not, this is not typical of Florida.
Right.
So what is that extra challenge like?
Yeah, this is Lake Toho. This is a chain of lakes. Makes up a Kissimmee chain. We have Toho, Cypress, Hatchinaha, and then Lake Kissimmee's at the bottom of the chain. So I think there might be like 40 or 50 miles of waterway between everything. Lake Toho itself is 11 to 12 miles long, I think. I could be wrong on that. And yeah, we're dealing with a lot of variables this week. One is the cold weather, which in Florida you absolutely do not want. These fish are very temperature sensitive, like the people are.
That's right. That's right.
You guys are all bundled
and
up.
And you see Garrett. You know what I mean? Exactly. That's right.
So,
yes.
But yeah, they're very temperature sensitive. We've had cold weather. We're going to have cold weather for the tournament. It's going to make it really hard to get bites.
Yeah.
And then another thing we have lock issues, which a lot of the field here is going to want to go to the other lakes, Cypress, Kissimmee, like I said, and they have to go through a lock. Well, that lock right now is shut down. It's planning to open this weekend. But if for some reason it gets delayed or something happens, we're all going to be trapped in Toho. And you put 250 boats in this little lake, and it's it's going to make for a challenge. So whoever's going to do well is really going to have to earn it this week.
So is this like one of the smaller lakes then you guys will fish?
So
considering, if you do get trapped in, right?
Oh, yeah, if we get trapped in, we will have never seen a lake this small with this amount of boats. Not even close. The whole chain itself is pretty small compared to one lake that we normally fish. So if you were to cut off 75% of that water, it's going to get really tight.
And what's it like to go through? Have you been through the locks here?
A couple times, yeah.
Yeah. So does it take some time planning to get
definitely? So it's I think you can get maybe 13 to 15 bass boats here at a time.
Okay.
Obviously, if you're one of the first guys there, you kind of just go through there. It might be a 10-minute process. You go on your way. If you're the 150th boat there, you might wait there for hours trying to get through. And that's that's part of the strategy too. If you have a later boat, maybe you hang out here for a little bit and then you go through the lock, or you just sit there and wait depending on what you want to do. But there's a lot of strategy involved. Obviously, we don't get all day to fish. We're on a time limit, so you want to make the most of your time, and you're going to kind of have to value what you want to do.
Right. Wow. So, I mean, will you see guys if there is a big backup? Will they be fishing? While they're there waiting.
I've seen it before where some guys are and some guys are catching them.
Okay.
Over boats and everything. It gets pretty fun, but most guys are just waiting.
Yeah, they're just
trying to bud their way in there.
So it's like probably not the most strategic area to fish.
Right.
As you wait
with all the boats on top.
But still, I mean, I guess you do what you got to do.
Right.
So will you be in some potentially, and if it is locked in, where you're a cast away from another boat? You're that close to the.
Oh yeah, it could get really tight. I mean, because the guys out here are so good. We all have really good electronics. We all find the same things. So most of the time, if you're in a productive area of the lake or a productive spot, you're gonna have people around you.
Yeah.
And if you don't, then you might have found something really special, and you're gonna have a good chance to win the tournament. But typically, you're always gonna be sharing water.
Yes.
And obviously, if you trap everyone, it's just going to get amplified, so it could get tight. There might be some arguments out there, but usually most guys understand it. I mean, it's competition. You just got to kind of get in there and work with what you got and outfish people, essentially, is what it comes down to.
Last year, the past couple years with the pandemic, what's that been like for the bass fishing world? Did that impact your tournaments? I mean, obviously you're out in the open, so that's a positive, right? No 6 feet rules need to be applied there. But did you see a difference there? Did you see a change there?
It was. So the first year in 2020 when it came down, everything got delayed. Everything got canceled like most sports did.
Yeah.
We had our season in the fall and it was kind of all bunched together. But since then, it's been going smoothly. Most of the states we go to allow for fishing, at least outside.
Yeah.
Obviously, fishing's outside, but allow for outside activity.
Sure.
So we've had no problems with that. And actually, if anything, we've seen a big interest. I mean, the fields of boats have been they've been maxed out. I mean, there's a wait list of 100 people to get in this tournament.
Wow.
Everybody wants to go out. Everyone wants to compete. So it's gotten. We've gotten more attention than ever. We've had more fans than ever. I think a lot of people are sitting around, wanting something to entertain themselves.
Sure.
So we've seen a huge fan base growth. We hate to talk that COVID was good because it wasn't, but for our sport, it did show, shed a new light to it. So
no doubt.
It's been exciting.
That's awesome, man. So are there qualifiers before this to kind of get into this tournament thing? You're talking about the waiting list, or is it because it's an open?
No, so this is an open.
It's an open.
If you can sign up, you get in. There's things that give you like special priority to get in the tournament. Like if you finish well in years past, you get in, certain sponsor exemptions. Like for instance, I was high in the points last year, so I was able to get in here right away. I didn't have to deal with it. But there were some guys, everyone signed up on the same day. And some of those guys didn't get in. So
gotcha. Wow.
There was a lot of interest to get in here.
Yes. Wow, that's awesome. So you were here. You got here on Wednesday.
Correct.
Wednesday night. You were here yesterday.
Yep.
So breaking in the new Merc, Pro XS 250. Awesome. Looks great on the boat. Everything was good?
Everything was good, yeah.
Awesome.
Usually, so I rig the boat myself for the most part. I don't put the engine on there, but all the electronics and all that I like to do myself. And usually there's a couple bugs just because,
sure,
you know, I'm up there in Michigan. I can't put it in the water and test it. So I got to bring it down here and see what's wrong. But so far, it's been flawless.
Awesome,
got the engine broken. I put on 2 hours until that break-in period is done, and then I've been able to run it around. And it's been good. It's felt nice.
Yeah.
You know, no complaints. And
That's awesome.
you know, that's kind of why I came down here early. It's because usually you have a couple days of running through those bugs, and I've had none. So
yeah,
I'm excited.
And what about, you know, so we're talking about some of the boat supply chain concerns. What about the engine? I've heard of some guys, hey, I got my boat, but no engine. I'm waiting on the engine. So have you seen anything impact there?
Yeah. So for me, obviously, you know, I wasn't impacted. But from what I've heard, guys are without a boat because they can't get an engine. So it's
I know. All the way around. And I know for us, you know, on PartsVu, you know, we've seen trolling motors, you know, just non-existent. Jack plates, you know, recently have been very challenging to get. So it's really continuing on. And you know, I mean, you hate to say it, but I bet for another year that we're within these challenges that are there. But you know,
and it's but it's not that it's the company's fault.
That's right.
I mean, there's a huge demand as well.
It's
not that they're not selling any. There's just so many people trying to buy.
It's the backlog.
Yeah.
You know, it's just
a new era of people buying boating equipment and maintenance parts and all that. So
it's so true. And let's hope, you know, obviously it's been a big boom. Let's just hope we can give a good experience and it continues, you know, onward and upward. So on the new boat, I mean, we can't see it great from here, but the electronic setup up front is just awesome. You know, it looks so good. And in the back, all Humminbird equipment. So, you know, talk to us a bit about your setup, you know, with your electronics, kind of why you do what you do, how that impacts your strategy, you know, out on the water.
Yeah, so, like you said, I have a whole Humminbird Minn Kota product. For us, to fish at the highest level, it's almost, I don't want to say it's becoming like a video game, but the technology is so good, you're crazy not to use it. So I have a big unit right at the console where I do a lot of my driving. I have all my GPS, all my safety features there where I'm able to navigate the lake. I'm able to scan around and look for spots at the console, at the steering wheel. And then I'm able to mark the spots into the GPS system, go onto the front of the boat, have the spot marked up there at the front of the boat, and then I'm able to start fishing exactly where I want to do that. And then I have transducers off the front that showcase the bottom in front of the boat. I have certain ones that showcase I can see the fish swimming, I can see my lures.
Wow.
Yeah, it's gotten
the details incredible.
Yeah, it's gotten really powerful. And it's really it's cool because it's showing a new side of our fisheries that we didn't know. You know, it used to be where you could only whatever you could see is what you would fish. Now we're able to see things out in the middle of the lake, under the water, that we never knew were really honestly there. And you're seeing it with the tournament weights. The weights are going way higher. We have access to fish that have never been fished for. It's kind of a new breakthrough period of the sport where, you know, things are just booming.
So, I mean, this, you know, there's automation built into your networking. I mean, obviously, with your trolling motor, is automation beginning to be built in there? Like as far as keeping maybe a course goes, things like that. Are you seeing that?
Definitely, yeah. So I have my Minn Kota Ultrex is linked to my Humminbird graphs. I'm able, if I want it to go down a contour line on the graph, it will do that, and I can set the track and all that. I can set a waypoint through my trolling motor, and it'll show on the graph. It's all becoming one. You know, the Minn Kota Humminbird saying is a one boat network. It truly is. I can control everything through pretty much any device on that boat.
Wow, incredible! And you rig it all yourself.
And I rig it all myself. Yeah.
So I mean, is that rare? I mean, most guys, you know,
Yeah, most guys probably don't. They have a say in it because it's all very customizable how you want things to lay out and all that. My big thing is, and my dad was actually an electrical engineer, so I know how important supply voltage and things like that is to our units. So I like to make sure I'm getting really clean power from my batteries to make sure they're operating right. You know, I like soldering my connections. I just like making sure everything's not going to fail while I'm on the water. So I kind of take an extra step, and it might take me a little longer than having, you know, someone do it with cheap components. But I think in the long haul, I'm better off for it. And then if there ever was an issue for some reason, I literally know where everything in the boat is. Yeah. So I can diagnose it and I can fix it, you know, just
there's something very valuable about that, right? When you're out there on the water, something goes wrong that you know right where to go.
I'm not digging around
That's
thinking,
right.
what wire is this? You know, I got it all labeled. I know where it's at.
That's a tremendous asset to have. And I'm sure, do you build redundancy in, like, you know, to the network, to the system, so you have backups that are there?
Yeah, to an extent.
Yeah.
You know, I have some ideas in my head, like if something were to go wrong, I know I can take it off of this battery and put it over here. So I like to think of that, because in this sport and in boating, as you know, it doesn't matter. I mean, things are going to go wrong. It just is what it is. So we have to deal with it and you know, make sure we're safe and we can at least accomplish what we want to do on the water when that happens.
Yeah. So back to the fishing a bit. I mean, this lake is known for big bass.
Big bass, yeah.
You know, and I think I read somewhere where some of the Florida wildlife biologists that they commissioned said in this lake, like for I think every like 23 acres, I can't remember what it was exactly, but there's a more than 10 foot bass that's in the wading. Yeah. So I think if you did the
10
math,
pound bass.
Not 10 foot, excuse me, 10 pound, forgive me. So if you do the math though, it was like upwards like 2,500 bass, potentially over 10 pounds that are in this lake.
I believe it.
So just tremendous opportunity awaits, you know? So, you know, what is that like coming into this? You know, how does that change your strategy? Like, are you trying to go after the big one, or just like, you know, what is that like?
It definitely changes. So for one, a little backstory, the biggest 5-fish stringer ever came out of this lake. It was over 45 pounds for 5 fish, so a 9-pound average. So I believe the 10 pound, you know, the 2,500 10 pounders or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, Florida is a little bit different because most places we go to, you know, for one, our tournaments are a 5-fish limit. You're looking for 5 solid bites. You want to have 5 nice fish, bring them back to the scales. Florida is a place where you can have one really big bite. You can go out, you get an 8 or a 9 pounder, and you can have 4 little ones to go with it, honestly, or 3 little ones, and still do well. So yeah, in my strategy, I'd love to go out there and, you know, maybe catch a quick 5. It might not be the biggest 5, and then devote a large portion of my day for getting literally 1 or 2 bites. But hopefully they're those 7, 8, 9, 10 plus
fish.
Pound fish.
Okay.
And then, you know, that's a good way to do well. It's rare that you're going to come out here and catch 5 of those big ones, but to win or do well, you need to have 1 or 2 a day.
I think so. Yeah. And so have you, you know, yesterday you were out running some. I know today, hopefully the weather breaks, you can get out and run some. How many days do you have to practice for this tournament?
So these tournaments are unlimited practice. For me, well, I guess I'm going to have about 5 to 6 days to practice it, which is a little longer than I normally would. Okay. But I'm breaking in a new boat and things like that. Usually I like 3 or 4 days of practice. Because anything further than that, you kind of start hurting yourself. Like you might find an area or a spot that's good a week away from the tournament, and by the time the tournament comes, it's completely different. So I don't like coming too far in advance. I just kind of like get here, fishing the moment, and fishing what the conditions present me, and not fishing what we call history, which is old spots or old things that we're working. And a lot of times it's how you get in trouble.
Makes sense. Yeah, you say, well, they were here, but where are they?
Yeah,
you know, it's like,
and especially if you've done well, you're so caught up, you want to go there, you want to catch them. But you need to know that, you know, today is a different day, and you need to fish that day accordingly.
And I think, I mean, know what the weather's like today and yesterday, and then it's going to be getting colder here, you know, tomorrow, Sunday, but then there's a warm up. So maybe by the time the tournament starts, it's totally different.
Exactly. So a lot of my time these next couple of days, I'm just going to be looking for things. I'm not even going to be fishing. In my mind, I'm going to say, okay, this could work during a warm up. This could work if the wind blows this way. It's really just getting out there and scouting and just getting ideas in my mind. And then as the tournament nears, I'll, you know, try to dial in on a few things, and, you know, hopefully it's working how I want it to be.
Yeah, no doubt. So, you know, I got to ask, we're like, what, maybe half hour, 45 minutes from Disney World. So, hey, in the afternoon, in the evening, are we going to hang out?
No, we're not going. Maybe after the tournament.
That's right.
We are.
We're staying focused.
Yeah, this is all about focus.
Yes.
I get here at dark in the morning, and I'll fish until dark.
Gotcha.
And it's drive home, eat something quick, and go to bed.
This is business, man.
This is business.
Yeah,
these are long days. You know, some people work a 9 to 5. I say I work a 5 to 9. So
exactly.
It's long days, but after we'll relax and have some fun.
Yeah.
But for this, I want to put in as much time as I can and stay focused on what I have
because it's, you know, like you say, with these changing conditions and this environment being atypical for Florida right now, you got to be on your game. It seems like 100%.
Definitely.
Where do you think, like, you know, what's your kind of goal for your weight? Your weigh-in going into this week? What are you looking for?
You know, it's hard to judge the weights just because like some days they might bite and the weights might get really high. My thing is I want to fish smart in this tournament, and I want to be consistent.
Okay.
There's gonna be a lot of guys that will catch them really good one day and then struggle. I just want to be steady and consistent, and if it's 60th place on day 1 and I stay consistent and jump up to, you know, top 20, something like that would be great. But
Yep.
I want to be real smart. I don't want to look back at this tournament and, kind of kick myself for, oh, why'd I do that? Or, that was a bad decision. I just want to, fish safe, fish smart.
Yes.
Obviously you want to win, and
Sure.
I'm trying to win.
Sure.
But I've done a lot of things in the past where I'm trying to win so hard that I, have a poor tournament.
Gotcha. Okay.
This one I just want to get off to a good start, and
Stay consistent.
just have a good finish and start the season on the right note.
That's awesome, man. So where will you go from here? What's next?
So for here, I'll go home for a little bit,
Okay.
and then I'll have a road trip. I'll go from Tennessee to Virginia to Mississippi, actually.
Okay.
So that'll be a pretty big one.
Wow. And are those rivers, lakes, combination of both?
Combination of both. Yeah, the
Combination
first one's a
of both.
reservoir, and then it's actually a tidal river on the
Okay.
East Coast in
So
Virginia.
That's a bit different.
James River, yep.
Yeah.
And then we're going to another reservoir in Mississippi.
Okay. The title is interesting to me that you
Very.
guys get into that kind of environment.
Yeah, it is. It's we're obviously fishing for the same species of fish throughout these, but
Yeah.
it might as well be different because the
Yeah.
way a tidal river bass acts compared to one here in Florida,
Wow, I can
it's
only
completely
imagine.
different.
Yeah. And you and I were talking earlier about, fishing bass versus fishing redfish or, going out and fishing pelagics, right? It's because the environment is so different, because the fish are more finicky, and because, you're going throughout the country and, the weather is different, the temperature is different, all of it changes. It just seems so much more challenging than if you're going into a saltwater marsh environment to fish redfish where in Texas, in North Carolina, in Florida, it's going to be somewhat similar as you go.
Yeah.
So again, I can imagine, the strategy that you bring to the table, the game planning you do ahead of time has to be spot on.
It is, and I think that's
Yeah.
why bass fishing has a large following.
Yeah.
As far as fans go, it's for competition fishing, it's probably at the top of the list
Yeah.
through any species, just because it's so different.
Yeah.
It varies so much, and it's so hard to, be consistently good
Yeah.
on all these different environments. It makes for a great competition for us, and it makes for a great show to watch.
No doubt, 100%.
It's not the same redundant thing over and over.
Yes.
Not that
Yes.
not
Sure.
that I'm knocking other fish. I love
Sure.
all species of fishing.
Yes.
But this varies a ton, and
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
makes a challenge what it is.
I think it's great too. You get into these different, the environments are beautiful. They're fun to watch. It's fun to think about. Hey, I'm in this setting, and it's a great thing. So, well, listen, man, it's been great to speak with you, and we're just super, excited to be here with you, and wish you all the best of luck coming up. And yeah, man,
I
that's
appreciate it.
awesome.
Yeah, it's been
So,
fun. This is going to be our second year working together.
Yeah, it's been great, man.
And
Yeah.
it's been fun to grow with you guys. So I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to it.
Thanks so much, man.
Yeah.
You mean a lot to PartsVu. We appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Garrett. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the PartsVu Xchange Talks Boating podcast. Are you in a dock war with your boating neighbor for the cleanest boat? Check out our marine soaps, polishes, waxes, and more at PartsVu.com. And for free shipping, use the coupon code PVTalksShine, a special perk for our podcast listeners. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram for boating knowledge, to keep in touch with the PartsVu community, and for special sales and promotions. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast, and check out the show notes for the coupon code just mentioned, more information about PartsVu and the products we offer, as well as our boating blog, the PartsVu Exchange. And a big thanks to Mind for performing the original music featured within this podcast.